future of human spaceflight poses many challenges.
The goal to go to Mars and beyond pushes the boundary of science and technology. In order to make this goal achievable, we must first understand how the body reacts in space in different environments. Gravity is a large factor in our health and formation of the body. Because of the environmental changes, questions about how the lack of gravity will affect the body arose.
Though there are other methods, the creation of mechanisms to simulate artificial gravity will be used to combat this problem and push humanity beyond our Earth.
Because gravity is a vital factor in our health, extended periods of time without it affects the human body. Under normal gravitational conditions, thermal motion causes continuous mixing of the blood. This prevents blood cells from settling out. This is an important job of gravity. A typical centrifuge can achieve accelerations that are 600 to 2,000 times that of normal gravity. Some conditions that are problematic in an environment without gravity may include muscle atrophy, cardiovascular dysfunction, bone demineralization, impaired cognitive process, ocular problems, reduced immunological problems, reduction in muscle mass plus strength and function, cardiovascular deconditioning, associating orthostatic intolerance with syncope, increased resting heart rate, misaligned diurnal rhythm of the heart, bone loss due to imbalance of bone formation, and bone resorption. The weight-bearing bones are more affected in this environment as opposed to non-weight-bearing bones. This has been found in a study on zebrafish larvae. Increased bone formation was found during this experiment, and the same situation can be applied to humans.
In order to make advancements in human spaceflight, science needs to combat this problem. The way that is currently being dealt with on the International Space Station is through extensive exercise in space. Doing so will prevent those extensive health issues, especially muscle and bone loss. On average, astronauts exercise for 2 or more hours each day. Because of the lack of gravity, equipment to exercise has to be creative. Lifting 200 pounds in space is much easier than lifting that much on Earth because of microgravity. To minimize the bodily effects of microgravity, NASA has equipped the International Space Station with fitness equipment. A weightlifting machine, ARID, uses vacuum cylinders to simulate free weights for resistive exercise. This helps astronauts maintain their bone and muscle strength while in space. Sevis is a stationary bicycle where astronauts strap their shoes onto the pedals and use a seatbelt to hold them on the bicycle. Lastly, astronauts use a resistance treadmill named Colbert to exercise in space. The astronaut has shoulder and waist straps to keep them on the treadmill. The straps give the astronaut a feeling of running while wearing a backpack. Months of physical exercise and tests are done before launching. Astronauts have to be in top physical shape. NASA already uses large centrifuges to prepare astronauts for extreme acceleration, so creating a similar vehicle in space would be normal for them.
Though artificial gravity is a great solution to future issues, the effects are still unknown. Newton's laws of motion can help us to understand what may happen. His first law states that a body at rest will remain at rest, and a body in motion will remain in motion unless it is acted upon an external force. If a large object was moving through space in a straight line, the inertia of the object will cause it to continue into a straight line, unless interrupted by another object. In order for it to follow a circular path without changing speed, a continuous centripetal force must be applied at a right angle to its path. The radius r of the circle is equal to the mass m times the square of the velocity v divided by the centripetal force. Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. In the rotating system, the centripetal force pulls the mass inward following a curved path. Another important theorem in the creation of the vehicle is Einstein's equivalence theorem. It states that gravity equals acceleration. In this case of no gravity in an environment, this must be taken into account. A conceptual rotating vehicle that uses centrifugal force is a solution using these principles. Centrifugal and centripetal force are different, but both will play a role. Centripetal force is an actual force, whereas centrifugal force is an apparent force. The difference has to do with frames of reference. The different viewpoints are used for different measurements. Centrifugal force and centripetal force are the same force, but in opposite directions because they've experienced different frames of reference.
Multiple factors of how the human body will react in space need to be taken into consideration. Have potential challenges rather than pregnancy on Earth. Inhabiting another planet with a different gravitational environment would alter our appearance and function. Bone structures are weaker, the body could shrink, and organs would develop differently. This is an important factor to consider when considering long-term spaceflight. If humans were to never return to a gravitational environment, this would not be a problem. But because our goal is to return to Earth, we must think about these things. Potentially, if we inhabit another planet, evolutionary processes would alter our appearance and function. Artificial gravity may be a solution to this issue as well. Research shows that biologically meaningful interactions between mothers and offspring are changed within the weightless environment. Study on rats shows similar problems that may arise. Deformities were found in the rats, and it was found that similar processes may happen in human systems.
Our model proposal solution is a conceptual rotating vehicle that uses a centrifugal force to simulate gravity. A pre-existing model called GEPAM, or Gravitational Experimental Platform for Animal Models, was created by the ESA, or European Space Agency. It is a smaller scale model that could potentially be upscaled. It uses rotators for hypergravity exposure to show effects of altered gravity. They have been using it currently for amphibian embryos, tadpoles, and mice. This contributes to understanding of molecular and cellular mechanisms and identification of countermeasures. Our proposal is a rotating vehicle that can be placed in orbit or land onto a surface. Our model proposal solution is a conceptual rotating vehicle that uses a centrifugal force to simulate gravity.
The largest setback in creating the vehicle is the cost. The vehicle would have to be massive in order to be effective. You would need a radius of 56 meters if the orbital was 15 seconds long. For a period of 30 seconds, you would need a 224-meter radius. The cost also includes for the mode of transportation to launch it into space, which is extremely expensive. Existing methods include shuttles, the current Falcon 9 Heavy rocket, or they may need to create new methods due to its massive size. Usability is an important in the means of transportation to lower cost, which the Falcon 9 Heavy rocket is able to do.
Planet with gravitational